All right, what's up, guys? Today is Thursday, August 28th. So give me 1 second here. I want to make sure we do not have. All right, so the regular market open we take would be for a sell. For one of them would be a sell. The other one would be a. The other one would be a. This is tricky. It might, I think both of them would be for a sell, but we'll see. But one of them is definitely a sell because the trend is a sell trend. Also, there is this one that I talked about previously, just to observe what entries come up. And I think we'll also get an EMA entry here on the 15-minute. So again, this is going to happen pretty fast. Um, so let's see. All right, so we have market open. So market open for NAS. So let's see. Both of them here will be a sell. So the sell, the original one, and also the regular one. I'm sorry, the forecast one and this other one for the trend one are both sells. And then NAS is a buy. Remember this entry that we talked about, but I'm not taking any NAS entries. So we don't have a 930 signal for US30. But the NAS signal is for a. So today I'll close my 9. So my 9:30 a.m. only account, I'm not taking anything. And then let's see. For the EMA entries, SAR entries here. Nothing for SAR, nothing for EMAs. And we'll see how this goes. Um, But yeah, so so NAS, you can see the 9:30 a.m. signal for NAS was a buy. But anyway, I'm not taking NAS just as of yet. We didn't have a 9:30 a.m. signal for US30, but we did have one for NAS. Let's see. So we still observe this one right here for US30 to see if we get any entry, any signal here. So there's three ways for this particular entry here. Mm, One, you can take the 9:30 a.m. only. The second one, you can take, so here you're looking to take one trade a day for these entries. So if you took one trade a day today for NAS, you'd have been in profit, um, or you'd have hit your TP for NAS. So let me see. This one we'll call it one trade a day only. One trade a day only. Trade a day. And this is at market open. Right. Mm, We've tested for the people who take the pre-market entries, I'm sorry, the pre-market highs and lows, we've tested the pre-market low. It, however, didn't come 10 points below the threshold, so nothing there. So here, let me do this. So market open. We might get a buy for US30 here based off of how price is moving. And again, this is on the 15-second time frame. All right. The second entry you can take is the first trade. Uh, the first trade after market open, whether it's at 9 9:30 a.m. or not. Then the other one, the very third option is for you to uh the first trade after market open, not including not including the 9:30 a.m. including 9:30 a.m. entry. Okay, perfect. So this is the one trade a day. So like today, and again, same as I do on the other accounts, right? I'm taking this one on 3 accounts. So for today, the 9:30 a.m., we didn't have a 9:30 a.m. signal on US30. We had one on NAS. I really haven't started taking NAS. But the account that I'm taking the 9:30 a.m. only trade, I've already closed the account because there wasn't any 9:30 a.m. entry today. So the other accounts that I'm left with is the first trade after market open. So typically, at any given day, I'll take a trade either on account 1 and 2 or account 2 and 3. Because right now, you can see account 2, it's the first trade after market open, whether it's a 9:30 a.m. or not. So in the second option, you don't care whether the first trade will come or the first buy or sell signal will come up at 9:30 a.m. or not. And in the third one, you are not looking to take a 9:30 a.m. Entry because typically there's quite a bunch of volatility and manipulation in the system around then. So typically you'll have an entry 1, 2, or 2 and 3. And there's a fourth entry. And again, for this one, you probably have to have multiple accounts if you want to take each of this, is to uh well, this one wouldn't qualify as one trade a day. Um, so this one would be take every take every trade between 9:30 a.m. to 10:59 a.m. So this is multiple trades. And you're going for a 1:2 risk to reward. Uh, exception. So this is the only exception. Uh, and for the regular market open, I think we are at, yeah, we are at 1:1 risk to reward. So if you normally set break even, you can set break even. If you normally trail your stop, you can trail your stop. But yeah, so for today's, both of them were sells. For each of the above, use 1:2 R with 20, 20, 40 points TP. So this is I'll save this as market open entries. Um, so for this one, what I'll do, I will move it to the NASDAQ chart because I'm not trading NAS just as of yet, and US30 is dumping. Uh, I'll move this here. I'll delete it here. And we are going to probably move it here. All right, so we haven't gotten any signal for US30 for the day. So we're still waiting for that first signal. So for today, of course, we don't have anything at 9:30. For US30, we had something at 9:30 for NAS. So right now, waiting for Mm. And for this one, you don't have to worry about, I really don't look at order blocks. I don't look at the zones. I don't look at anything for this particular one. Mm. And there wasn't any EMA entry for the day because all of these EMAs had been tested, so there wasn't any EMA entry. See what else. But in order for price to keep pushing down, we need to close below this EMAs. We do have so SAR entries, we do have an hourly. For SAR entry, we do have this hourly SAR here. However, we do have an order block next to this SAR. So we do have a bearish order block. So we have a 15-minute bearish order block that's literally next to it. So I wouldn't be looking to take even any buy entry here for this SAR. So today, if, for example, you're taking NAS, you would have been up to, and for, okay, so here's the thing, right? For this one trade a day entries, I recommend risking, it depends on how, it depends on what you want to take, right? So if you want to take the 930, if you're taking the ones that are one trade a day, you can risk 1% per trade because you're only looking to take one trade. So if you get that trade, if you win, then you're done. If you lose, you're done. You wait for the next day, right? So for items, for trade setups 1, 2, and 3, you can risk 1%, actually even 1.5%, because in the back testing that I did since January, um, in the back testing that I did since January, you wouldn't have blown an account even though you risked 1.5% per trade. But I would recommend you to risk 1% per trade. The highest losing streak I saw, I think, was for trade setup 2 or 3, I forget. I can check my notes. But the highest losing streak I saw was, I think, trade setup 2 or 3, and it had like a 4 or 5 back-to-back losing days. But other than that, everything else was profitable. And now, if you're going to take setup number 4, which is taking every trade between 9:30 a.m. to 10:59 a.m., then of course you don't want to risk 1% per trade. because typically I've noticed that you'll get like four or five. Sometimes you won't even get one trade setup, but typically you'll get like 3 to 5 signals between 9:30 a.m. and 10:59 a.m. So I recommend risking 0.25% per trade, which is what I'm doing even for me personally. You can go for zero point 0.5 if you want to go a little higher. I think yesterday by taking all trades. And I can go to my journal. Give me a second. I can sign into market open. All right, so we'll come back in here. Let's see. Let me put one of them on my other screen so that I don't miss a setup. We might be getting a buy entry here on US30. I just have to remember which accounts to take it on. Okay, probably not. Okay. Let's see. Anyway, so if we go to the trading journal here, so this is the account I'm tracking all of those five setups. So I have what five accounts. One, two, three, no, four accounts. Four accounts that are trading that are tracking each of these setups. Now, for account, if we go here to the filter and filter based off of not setup, if we go to advanced filter and go to the 9:30 a.m. only. So this week for US30, yesterday was the only day we had a 9:30 a.m. only trade, and it was a win. So you can see it was a 1:2 risk to reward. So yesterday is the only day this week where there was a 9:30 a.m. only entry, and I think it was for a buy, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so it was for a buy. So yesterday, or for this whole week, right? Only one signal for the 9:30 a.m. On Monday, we didn't have any 9:30 a.m. signal for US30. Tuesday, nothing. Yesterday was the first day. Then we go to the next one, right? The next one is the first trade. So whether it's a 9:30 a.m. or not, right? So for that one, you can see on Monday, the first trade was a losing trade. The second day was a losing trade. Yesterday, the first trade again was a 9:30 a.m. So it got back those two losses on Monday and Tuesday. So again, for that particular entry, it's at break even. Then if we go to the post 9:30 a.m., so this is not caring whether the first signal or not including the 9:30 a.m. signal. So you're looking to take anything but the 9:30 a.m. signal, but you're just looking to again take one trade a day. Again, for that one, was a losing day on Monday, Tuesday, and also yesterday. I did say when we talked about this last week, I did say I may consider adjusting the TP and stop loss for this one because yesterday's loss just was a week out, so I just got stopped out and then price came back to profit. So I did say maybe I may consider going for a 25-point stop loss and 50-point TP, and you guys will see as we keep trading this. So I may consider going for a 25-point stop loss and 50-point TP, or even going for a 1:3. I think maybe that might be a little better. And then the very last one here is taking all signals. So taking all signals between 9:30 a.m. to 10:59 a.m. So yesterday you can see the first one was a win, which was that market open one, but unfortunately the other two were losing trades. But yesterday, right, was ended up only being down for this particular account like 1,000, and I think in one of those there was a little bit of slippage because the first one was a win. Yeah, there was slippage on the second one because I should have only lost 500. But anyway, yesterday, here I should have only lost 500, but I think slippage was a bit high yesterday. So this is again how I'm tracking all of these accounts. I'm just tracking all of them on one journal, and we'll see how that goes. So you can choose to do either of this. So for me, I'm doing each and every one of this. It's definitely a little tricky, especially when you have to enter one trade in multiple accounts. So I may end up just automating that so that that signal automatically gets entered on my accounts once they do get once the signal does set up. Let's see here. So this one. mm, all right. So nothing yet for NAS as well, and we can track NAS with the same statistics. This market open is still running. Of course, we are being held by the 15-minute EMA and also this bullish order blocks here, but you can see how NAS is dumping. So probably US30 might also, either NAS is following US30 or the opposite, but they're both in a nice little downtrend here. And you can see this even before market open, right? The signals are pretty much still valid, but I just do not trade market open. Give me a second here. Mm, all right, so we came down to that hourly SAR here. Again, this one I wouldn't have taken because we didn't get to the 10. Well, actually, we did get to the 10-point threshold from this. So we did get to the 10-point threshold, but the only issue with this particular entry here was that we did have this bearish order block that's literally around the entry area. So I would not have taken that. But it would have been a pretty nice trade. Anyway, I still think US30 has some downtime or downside to go, but I'm also watching this one. All right. See. And I have to drop off. Actually, well, I'll just mute myself for a little bit. I need to do something here shortly, but I'll just leave. If I buy, just know if a signal comes up on the chart for US30, I'm taking that as the first signal on this last, on accounts 2, 3, and 4. So whatever signal comes first, I'll be taking that for US30. For the regular market open, we are at like 1 is to 1.5, if I'm not wrong, risk to reward. Yeah. And this one I'd talked about maybe going for 75 point stop loss and 150 points TP, but currently this one it's like 100 point stop loss and 200 points TP. But 75 and 150 may be something to play around with going forward. Something to play around with. Um, we'll see. And price is being kept up. If you look on the hourly time frame, so if you go here on the hourly, actually not on this one. We go here on the hourly time frame, and you look to the right or to the left, there's this, this big wicked candle here that's holding price up. So that's the one that's pretty much holding price up. So if we can break this wick, right here, we should be able to hit take profit. But that's the one that's ideally just holding price up for right now. And also we do have these order blocks here. So the good thing here is that we do have a high time frame bullish order block that's all the way past our take profit level, past where this take profit level is. So if anything, I still expect US30 to keep pushing down and maybe get to that 4 hour bearish, I'm sorry, bullish order block. But anyway, I'll mute myself for a while. I have to take care of something a little, shortly here, but I'll be back. But if you do see a buy or sell signal here, and I will try and mark it up on the chart if it does come up, but it's going to print a buy or sell signal. So that's the entry I'll be taking here for this particular model. All right. I'm back. Let's see. Um, so for US30, so it looks like today NAS was NAS was the instrument. Um, so this market open is still running. I still think it's going to hit take profit, but again, if you guys normally trail stops or set to break even, or scale out, you should be already there. But the reversal, if anything, the reversal for US30, I would expect at this 4 hour bullish high. I think we might test the all-time high again tomorrow because you can see today we had a nice push. We had a nice push up. So I think and given that tomorrow is Friday, I think we'll still probably reverse from here. Um, Regarding the market open entries, so Friday was, I think, the one of the best market open entry days because and even looking back the previous week. So the previous week we started off Monday with a win, 1:2 R. The next 2 days were losing days. So Monday, Tuesday, I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday or something. Friday or some, I don't know. Anyway, we started off the week with a 2 hour win. Tuesday and when was this? When's the 20th? Yeah. So Tuesday, yeah, because Mondays we don't have a live session. So Tuesday we had a win. Wednesday, Thursday we had a loss. So by Thursday we had gone back to break even. And then Friday, that's when we took this major win when we went for the all-time high for US30. Yesterday or Monday, which is the 25th of August, was a win. And then Tuesday, another win. Yesterday was a losing day for me, and I know we haven't had a live session this week. And today, this should be another win. Now, for this particular model that we are saying one trade a day, for today we didn't have a 9:30 a.m. entry for US30. We didn't have a 9:30 a.m. entry for US30. The only entry at 9:30 a.m. we had today was on NAS, which is this one right here. So for US30, nothing for the 9:30 a.m. So item one or account one, I didn't take any trade for the 9:30 a.m. Then account two, you take the first trade after market open, whether it's at 9:30 a.m. or not. So I did say that typically I'll either take trades account one, two, and four, or account two, three, and four. But account two, the first trade after market open today came at 10:30 a.m. And unfortunately for US30, that one was a loss. It went straight into stop loss, which is fine. Um, on account three as well, I took the same trade. So first trade after market open, not including the 9:30 a.m. entry. So on account three, I don't care. Like I just don't take a 9:30 a.m. Account. So typically that's why like I'll take similar trades on account two, three, and four, or account one, three, and four. So as well on that account, went to loss. Account four, it takes each and every single trade. So between 9:30 a.m. and 10:59 a.m. And I think this is the account that I will automate because it does take, if I'm taking a trade on 1, 2, 3 accounts, and again, this is on the 15-second time frame, it's a little bit better compared to the 5 second time frame that we enter. Again, I'm still taking the rejection scalps, but today we did not have any valid rejection scalp. This hourly buy right here, as much as it met the threshold, we did have a bearish order block here, so I wasn't willing to take a trade next to a bearish when a bearish order block is literally that close. But today we did not have any SAR or EMA rejection scalps. And after that, so for today, US30 wasn't the best instrument to trade. But if we do the same recap on NAS, today NAS was perfect. Every trade on NAS today was a winning trade with barely any drawdown, if any. So if we do the same entry models for this one right here to the left. So for NAS, if you're taking, again, if you're going for the one trade a day entry, and again, this one is perfect, right? Because last week we back tested January, and the next day I showed you guys back test all the way till August. And the 9, what is it? The 9:30 a.m. only entry would have given you 94% return year to date, like I think up to the end of last week. And then if you're only taking the first trade, including the 9:30 a.m., I think you'd have been up 56%. And then if you were taking the first trade, but you are omitting the 9:30 a.m. trade, you'd have made 64% as of the end of last week. So that is higher than any of the SAR or EMA rejection scalp. I think my most profitable rejection scalp strategy is the structure change, which is the Model 3. And for that one, it gave me 46% year to date, even though over the last 2 days I've had like a losing streak with it. But this one's as well. So we are still going to keep trading the rejection scalps, but this one is just like an additional thing that we can keep looking at. Also, right, with this regular market open here, that is more of an intra-day trade. But for this one, if we kind of analyze NAS, if you're only taking the one trade a day for NAS, you'd have been up. And for this one, if you're only taking one trade a day, you can risk 1% per trade because you're only taking one trade a day. And again, the highest losing streak I saw between January to August for the one trade a day, I think was a 5 day losing streak. But again, that's why you're going for a 1:2 risk to reward. The highest losing streak I saw with this market open, the one that's an intraday trade, was 8 back-to-back losing days. So this particular one has a higher losing streak than this particular one because again, this one is pretty much like a scalp because they're only going for 20 points stop loss, 40 points TP. But anyway, today for NAS, if you're only taking the 9:30 a.m. Entry, you'd have been up 2% if you're risking 1% per trade, and then you'd have closed that account for the day, right? And then today as well, the first trade, you would have taken the first trade as well. So today, the first trade, you would have taken it on account. So this 9:30 a.m. trade, you'd have taken it on account 1, 2, and 4. Account 1, 2, and 4. So account today, the first trade came at 9:30, so you'd have taken it on 3 accounts. Now, if you are not interested in taking the 9:30 a.m. entry and you just want the next entry after 9:30 a.m., then you keep waiting, right? So the next entry is this one that came up here. And this one, again, as much as I wasn't active here on the live session, I still had the price action going. This trade came up during the session and it came up at 10:15 a.m. Now that's the one you would have taken on account 3, right? Because you're taking the first trade, not including the 9:30 a.m. trade. So this particular one is as well, you'd have ended up the day at 2% gain. Now, if you still have a fourth account, again, you don't have to have 4 accounts like me. You can choose just to stick to one particular one. And unfortunately, most of this it hinges upon me being on the live session. Other than this week, which has been a little busy for me, I mean, I normally try to get on the live session even earlier so that we can review some of these potential entries. But today, on account 4, if you are taking every single trade between 9:30 and I know we're about to hit 10:59 a.m. right now, and I still expect US30 to keep going down. So right now, I wouldn't even be too focused on buy entries on any buy entries that may come up for US30. But if you're taking so the only exception to the one trade a day entry is this item 4 right here is account 4, because on account 4, it's the only exception because you're looking to take every single trade between 9:30 a.m. and 10:59 a.m. So every single signal that comes up between that period. So today, but then I wouldn't recommend you to risk 1% per trade. It's still profitable, but you might be pushing it a little bit. But I recommend maybe 0.25% per trade or 0.5% per trade. And we can backtest for this week only and see what the results would be for both US30 and NAS. I think we have a couple of more minutes. But for today, assuming a 0.25% risk, which is what I recommend. So here you'd have made 0.5% for this win. This win again, 0.5%. So you'd have been up 1%. Again, this one right here, 0.5%. So you'd have been up 1.5%. And then we do have this sell that came up here. And I think this one may have taken you out probably. Yeah. So for the day today, you'd have been up 1% uh, for NAS just for the day. If you're just risking 0.25%. If you choose to risk 0.5%, you'd have been up 2%. If you chose to risk 1% per trade, you'd have been up what? 4%. But anyway, let's do a quick backtest of the week for NAS because again, there's nothing here. We don't have any SAR rejection scalps. We do not have any EMA rejection scalps. This entry, fingers crossed, is almost hitting TP, the intraday market open trade. So we can just do a quick backtest here for the week on NAS and US30. I don't know if we'll have enough time to do US30, but I can try. And we can actually, yeah, we should be able to do both right here. So if we look at US30 on Monday, we didn't, so again, this week we didn't have anything at, wait, 9:30. Um, and here's the thing again. Oh, I just remembered. So the only thing with this particular backtesting is like backtesting the EMA, rejection, which is, let me see something here. Give me a second. The only thing, yeah, because this week there was no market open. So yeah, backtesting this one is not going to help us, especially right now when the market is still moving. Because the only 9:30 a.m. was yesterday. That's the only day we had a winning 9:30. So actually, never mind. Backtesting is not going to help us in this particular instance, especially backtesting when market is still moving. For this particular model, I normally backtest when market is, I like backtesting when market is dead because it doesn't mess up the price movements. But anyway, so we'll at this point we just kind of keep forward testing, but based off of the main backtest that I'd done, if you're taking one trade a day, you can risk 1% per trade. If you're taking multiple trades in a day, risk 0.25%, and you should be good with that. Tomorrow, I don't know. Let me see. I don't know if we're gonna have a live session tomorrow. But for tomorrow, I still think yeah, actually, yeah, I should be available to do a live session tomorrow. So we'll see how we go for tomorrow. But for the week so far, for that particular market, for this, all these four examples I was showing you guys, the only one that has been, or the only one that has won was this one, which is the 9:30 a.m. only entry. And of course, the other one that's the first trade, regardless whether it's at 9:30 a.m. or not, it's at break even for the week. And again, today it would be down like a 1% because today the first trade was a losing trade. And then same as this one here, the post 9:30 a.m. this week hasn't been the best. So this week again, that particular one is down. So the post 9:30 a.m. is ignoring the 9:30 a.m. entry and taking the next signal after that. And then the one that you take every single entry after, between 9:30 a.m. and 10:59, it's down about 0.5%. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. But here for this particular entry here, I think tomorrow we might go after the all-time high again for US30. You do see where we are right now. We do have a bunch of rejection, but eventually we do have this 4-hour bullish high and low, which is here, which is ideally where the take profit would be. But you can see we've started forming all these long wicks from the bottom. So price can even easily reverse all the way back here. But given that we still have even the afternoon session, I think the reversal time would be post 11 a.m. So at the very least, after maybe hitting TP here, we kind of range back and forth. And then overnight, we have a nice trend up in the market. And then tomorrow, we push up and possibly go for the all-time high. But anyway, so we'll see how tomorrow goes, and see if there will be any other opportunities for tomorrow. So still no, so it's already 10:59, no entries. So today for US30, there was only one entry for this particular market open model. And unfortunately, that entry lost. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. But other than that, I will see you guys next. Actually, not next week. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. All right, guys. Peace.